Hi everyone, welcome back to Good or Good Enough. So I saw the movie Sarah's Oil, and here is my little review. Okay, so Sarah's Oil is pretty simple. It is inspired by the remarkable true story of Sarah Rector, an African-American girl born in Oklahoma, Indian Territory in the early 1900s, who believes there is oil beneath the barren land that she is allotted and whose faith is proven right. As greedy oil sharks close in, Sarah turns to her family, friends, and some Texas wildcatters to maintain control of her oil-rich land, eventually becoming among the nation's first female African-American millionaire at 11 years old. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty good film. A quick summary for this movie is that it is PG. It's a little rough from the oil gangster people. A dog gets shot. The N-word is slightly used, but it gets interrupted. And then there's the language from that time that hints at racism and all that. The movie is an hour and 43 minutes long. It's a biography, drama, history. I say it's technically a Western. Directed by Cyrus Nowrasteh. Written by Nowrasteh. And then Tonya Bolden and Betsy Giffen. Zachary Levi plays Bert. He's not bad casting. Unlike, I think people had mixed feelings about him as Shazam. He seems to fit this role. Naya Desir Johnson as Sarah is quite good. She's pretty believable, as well as all the other characters. Everyone's a pretty good actor, I would say. The movie has 6.7 stars so far. It had an $18 million budget and has grossed $11 million. So technically it did flop. And then I think it's nicely paced. It's a real story. So it has that angle to it that it really happened. The climax twist is good. It's kind of simple, but it makes sense because, I mean, what real twist could you do? Is the guy the dad? Like, there's not many twists you could do. So this one makes sense. There's no end credit scene. It's pretty entertaining, I would say. I definitely enjoyed it for what it is. It's a lot of fun. And it's, I guess, pretty serious at times with appropriate humor. So I would definitely recommend this film. So for spoilers for this film, after a lot of back and forth, the villain person, Devman, is trying to get this oil from Sarah through legal ways. It gets to a point where they start to kind of kill some people. They were doing it legal at first, and now they're just going to go to straight up murder and take it that way. It's kind of unfortunate, but it kind of gets to a legal status thing where this guy isn't living there in Oklahoma. He's from Texas, so he technically can't get the land. So they want to change it to that woman, the lawyer lady, so that Sarah will be like allowed to own it. Basically, it has to do with like racism stuff. They're black and they have no rights, whatever, all that stuff. So Bert begins to realize that it seems like they're not going to stop until they kill Sarah and take the land that way. So they come up with a plan where they're going to rig the entire oil rig with dynamite so that they have a backup plan if this Devnan guy, like to kind of hold it ransom. So when he arrives, you know, they have the upper hand basically. They let him in and he basically is going to, he's going to take it by force basically. So he's there and he presents an actual Gatling gun, which is pretty hilarious. Didn't expect that. They have all the dynamite ready and they're going to blow that up, which is the main plan. And all this stuff happens, whatever. And oil starts spraying all over the place. A lot of oil. And that's like twist A. Twist B is that Bert has rigged all the other guys, Devnan's other rig oil things or whatever, to blow also. So now this guy is in a real tough spot where he can't do anything, and he's going to shoot her until the guy shoots the gun out of his hand, and that's basically it. She gets the land and oil in the end, and they're all happy and everything. It's pretty straightforward. To me, the twist is that, yeah, they're going to blow up the oil rig, and you're like, wait, what? No, don't do that. But they hold the other rigs hostage to kind of have some leverage. And that's pretty much, that's the twist and everything. There's no real twist, like, Bert is the dad or something, you know what I mean? It's not one of those types of movies. Bert gives Sarah, they have their last little speech. It's pretty nice, pretty sad. It's pretty good. I really liked it. I thought it was very well written character-wise. The accents aren't bad. You know, usually it's like, oh, pretty bad Western accent, but Zachary does a pretty good one. You know, he does the classic kind of accent, whatever. And then it pretty much ends with him leaving, and of course, beautiful cinematography and all that. And it goes into what happened with Sarah. She met John D. Rockefeller. She's part of this thing, and then meet all these people, Jack Johnson, the boxer, and then she goes to buy the, what was it, Busy Bee Cafe, the one that the white woman kept getting mad that Sarah was in there, so she buys it, and it's pretty cool. And then it ends with the real picture of her, so, I mean, it's pretty good, it's great, and then just normal credits and everything, so... No after credits scene, nothing like that. And here is a few of my favorite moments from the movie. The first one is when, so like Sarah is the only one that can read and write. So she's reading all this stuff and they're all like, they're like reacting like, oh, please, whatever. And they have to believe her because she can only read and write. And it's pretty hilarious. She's good with numbers and everything throughout they give her the contract and then they don't know what she knows. And then she surprises them with like, wait, you know that? Damn. Okay. So it's kind of funny. Like, it's hard to trick her because she can read. And then this part is just beautiful. I really loved it. Yeah, the mom doubts her. And then Sarah responds with, God gave me ears to hear it. It's so insane. It is so beautiful. I mean, that is crazy. God gave me ears to hear it. Crazy. 5 minutes and 30 seconds was a funny thing. It was kind of confusing. I thought it was an issue, but it's an editing thing. They're walking around to find an oil investor or something like that, whatever. And then it does this cut to where he's looking at a place, and then it cuts to them throwing him out. Pretty interesting kind of style of editing. The part where we meet Bert is hilarious. Sarah goes into the Busy Bee, and that lady, the white lady, doesn't like that she's in there. And then Bert is just hanging out there and offers to buy her a lemonade. Really cool. I loved it so much. She's just there. It's really cool. The part where Sarah is, I forgot what she's doing. She's looking for the dog, I think. And then she bumps into Bert, who is at this place with his homie Mace, that guy. She says some funny stuff back to him. He asks something, and then, yeah, the way she responds is so funny. Like, a lot of it catches him off guard. It's so funny. She's like, oh, and my dog died, and walks away. And Bert's like, wait, you can't tell me that, and then leave. Pretty cool, yeah. And then, yeah, they work together. It's really cool. I love it. That's awesome. This part is hilarious. Bert goes to the bank to try to get the $2,000 to buy the equipment, I think. And then they point to Sarah, who's outside, and she's like playing hopscotch, I guess. Hilarious. This part's pretty hilarious. Bert starts, like I was saying, like he's like I don't know what he is. I don't think he's like a mean person, but I forgot what. He does something. He swindles widows out of their money or something. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. I don't think he's a criminal or whatever. I don't think he's doing crime, but basically he's taking these women into the cafe and I guess trying to maybe sell them the silk or something like that. I don't know. So he does that, and then Sarah basically crashes the little meeting, and then he's like, oh, you shouldn't be here. And Sarah starts reciting everything that Bert has told her about the women that he's been with, and she starts telling the lady everything in front of Bert, and Bert's just like, I don't know if that's Really hilarious. This part was pretty cool. I liked it. Bert goes to buy the dynamite stuff. This guy, who is, I guess, a hillbilly, notices Sarah outside and starts to say the N-word until Bert punches him in the face and interrupts it. It's the closest N-word in the movie. They never say it again, whatever, so. But yeah, basically, yeah, that. It's pretty cool. Pretty awesome. This part is pretty cool too. I like that Rose gives this nice little mini speech to him. And I feel like the whole time you really are thinking, like, is Bert gonna double cross them? He seems genuine, but the way it's filmed and everything make it look like he's gonna backstab him and all that. The other thing I like is when the dog Blue and the dog runs away. You don't know anything else about that. So I was thinking it'd be so cool if the dog at the end, the final shot, Sarah saying bye to Bert, and the camera pans out and she says, I have everything's good except for my dog, and that dog walks into frame and then credits. I thought that would have been a great ending. They don't do that necessarily. They are driving somewhere and Blue happens to be at someone's house. I guess he survived, whatever. I don't think that's their house. Maybe that is, I don't know. I thought it wasn't their house. Maybe it's their house. So yeah, Blue basically returns home and the mom says, you know, you really wanted her. You would sacrifice everything. And she kind of did. And she gets her dog back. Pretty cool. But they didn't do the ending that I was thinking. You do find the dog about an hour later. The dog had survived. But I was thinking, what a great ending that would have been. You forgot about Blue, the dog, the whole time. And at the end, Sarah's waving by, kinda, as Bert leaves. And then the camera's there. And the dog walks in the frame. I was thinking that would be so cool. That would be such an insane ending. Like, you forgot about Blue the whole time, and then she has, everything is worked out well for her, except for cue the dog, and the dog walks in. That would have been so cool. This part I liked also. Bert I forgot what happened. He had to go somewhere, whatever. The two guys who killed Mace earlier drive past him and they don't know each other. That is so cool. I really like that because it's like the two stories connecting but not connect. The two stories are next to each other, waving to each other, and then the two stories go away again. I kind of like that. It's so cool. I like the multiple attempts throughout the film. Bert trying to find some legal ways to help Sarah and basically try to get the land to be put in her name or something. Pretty cool. They really try to find out all these like loopholes technically. And I like the end part where Devlin presents a Gatling gun. I did not expect that. I was thinking in the movie to have kind of a small section of action in it, but there are some good moments of it. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Because like when there's action, it changes the movie from just like no action to like a shootout. A shootout can change a whole feeling of a movie. So this movie has some of that in small parts beforehand. And so it's kind of like 20%, maybe 15%, like, you know, action and explosives or whatever, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. The rest is straightforward story stuff. I like the part where basically it looks like Devlin is pretty screwed, like, you know, like, you guys ruined my oil. There's no way. Then Bert reveals that he has rigged up all the other oil, the other rigs, whatever. Pretty cool. And just the part where I forgot who he is. I think he's the banker. I forgot. He shows up and then, you know, sees them all celebrating, sort of, kind of, whatever. And Sarah gets Sarah's oil, basically. I thought it was kind of a funny shot, actually, because it's like, how much soap and water is that going to take? I mean, I like the little summary of her life afterwards. That's so cool. And then finally her image at the end. That is, I mean, it's, yeah. So those are all my favorite moments And some things I'd fix for this film would be not much, really. What I was saying earlier is I would have kept the twist of Blue being alive. I would have really kept it for the end. I would have kept it for the end right here, where now Blue walks into frame, you know, because you would have forgotten about it. This is the sprinkles, this is the ice cream, the chocolate and everything. And Blue, I would say Blue is a cherry. And just imagine, Blue walks in the camera right now on the side. The camera would be a little lower, but Blue walks up, boom. And you go, oh yeah. I think that would have been so much cooler. And then the looks of the film are pretty good. I say the cinematography is pretty top-notch at times. Just beautiful shots of the rolling hills of the time. And just a lot of it is just like eye candy. Beautiful cinematography, just lots of shots. This shot, yeah, the lighting, everything was good. It looked very good. The camera angles are very normal. It's not an experimental type of a film. So no, you know, never before seen shots or anything. The sound of the film was fine. It's normal stuff. No pop music, nothing. Folk music or whatever that they play there for each other with their instruments and stuff, a harmonica and a banjo. So yeah, nothing that dates the movie or that makes it like modern, you know, like a trap song. You know, there's no Future being played here or Kanye West or anything. So the sound was fine. And it's not heavy effects. There's some shootout stuff, like a little bit, a gunshot or two. And then the big explosion thing at the end is pretty much all that is saved for that moment. And my final thoughts for this film is that it has a sort of mafia feeling with Devlin and his bad men trying to get the oil. This could technically be a Western, except it would be like an Eastern, I think, or a Mid-Eastern, Midwestern. Pretty entertaining. I definitely enjoyed this. I thought the humor was placed quite well. It's not trying to be funny. It's just like some scenarios have a funny angle to them, which adds to the humor. I do like that it's a little rough and doesn't shy from being too harsh. The racism is there. There was a part that I thought was going to be more violent, and they don't. There's a shooting or a killing that's kind of off screen, and they shoot the dog. So that was, I kind of like that. It didn't pull its punches, you know? It's like, well, they're going to kill the dog probably to send a message, and they do. And then Zachary Levi and Naya Desir Johnson, who plays Sarah, have good chemistry. I would like to know what they did or how long it took for them to practice together or whatever, or if they did, if they went to Oklahoma or, you know, familiarize themselves with the culture or the history and all that. Because, I don't know, nothing made me question it, though. Like I was saying, their accents are fine. You know, Zachary Levi has to do a cowboy accent, and everybody has their version. His is not bad, so that's pretty good. And that leads me into my summary again. It is PG. It's a little rough by the gangster people. A dog gets shot. The N-word is slightly used and it gets interrupted by Bert. Language from that time, as well as, you know, the general racism. It's an hour and 43 minutes. Biography, drama, history. Technically, it's a Western. Directed by Cyrus Norestay. Written by Tonya Bolden, Betsy Given, and Cyrus Norestay. Zachary Levi is Bert. Not bad casting. He does seem to fit this role. Naya Desir Johnson as Sarah is quite good. She's pretty believable, as well as the other actors who played Rose and Joe, I believe. It has 6.7 stars so far, $18 million budget, and has grossed $11 million, which means it technically flopped. It's nicely paced. It's a real story. So it has that angle to it that it really happened. It's pretty cool. The climax / twist is good. I say it makes sense. Could be a little weak, but then again, what other twist would you do? This is based off of real stuff, so I'm going to do the trivia soon. So we'll see if it's changed or if this is actually how the story reportedly went. There's no end credits scene. It's pretty entertaining, I would say, and I would definitely recommend this film. And my final rating for Sarah's Oil is that it is good. And that wraps up this review of Sarah's Oil. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you saw the film, comment down below about what you thought, and I'll see you in my next review.